To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs.
From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items.
Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
In the heartland of our country, something magical is happening. At Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes, we know the power of community, of hands coming together to create wonders. These costumes are symbols of love, compassion, and inclusion. Your hands can craft dreams. Join us at Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes build events and be a part of something extraordinary.
Introducing Tractor USA, the best way to buy and sell premium ag and construction equipment. Tractor USA was designed to be straightforward, simple, and affordable with zero commission and live auctions every week. Tractor USA auctions offer the finest selection of pre-owned tractors, combines, and other ag and construction equipment from across the United States and the world. Simply go to tractorusa.com to get started today.
Live in the Midwest, race number 11. As we approach cutoff time for the chase to begin, the Saturday Night Racing League has brought us to Kansas Speedway to begin what is probably one of the most difficult mile-and-a-half racetracks to pass on in the season. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper. Alongside me here tonight, I have my co-commentator, Connor Horn. And Connor, you've been here all season long. We've watched every variety of mile-and-a-half racetrack thus far, but this is probably the most difficult one if you want to get a pass on the inside.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, no doubt about it. Kansas is notorious for being a high-line dominant track. If you save the tires right, you have a chance to get that bottom line worked in, but it's going to be tough to do in these Xfinity cars. It is going to be even tougher to pass in the Xfinity car, but it's going to be less packed up than you would see a Cup race here, so maybe that might help the racing get a little bit more facilitated. It should be interesting. Our second to last off week of the season is done. After Pocono, Jeff Wright barely holding off Alec Martinez, and we're on to another mile and a half here. Obviously, you see right there, a mile and a half, that's the length. 17-degree banking in the corner, a little bit progressive if I'm not mistaken. This is a track that's been around for the last 23 or so years. Seen some great finishes and seen some hard to pass races. Seen some races under the lights in Saturday night, if I do remember correctly. Jeff Wright might have won that race here in the Gen 4 cars, but a completely different beast in the Xfinity car tonight.
Points up on your screen. There's the original topic we were talking about. Justin McWhorter, 15 points ahead. Actually, these are not updated. Let me see if I can find the proper points graphic here, because we have updated points that we need to get up here on the screen. There we go. We have the cutoff line there. So McWhorter's still 16 points ahead now. And Jeff Wright actually takes over the second position. Noah Michalski. It's pretty tight up here for the top 10, but you look back here at 12th and 13th position. Only 2 points separate that cutoff line. So tonight could be one of those races that dictate that final 12.
Yeah, it could be very important. Could be an important race. Jeff Wright climbing back up into the points picture, only 16 back of McWhorter after his win last week. Alex Bell's missed some races. That's some bad luck on the league side. Really, mostly not of his doing. He's back to 4th. Banks, Shoemaker, Carwile, Case Lacadas tied with Reggie Ortega, who's got a win this season. Ray Massey with a win this season as well, right on that cut line. Bailey Turner's a little bit below it as well.
Race analysis up on your screen. 140 laps here tonight. 45 miles per hour in the pit road speed limit. A little difficult to get on pit road, but not too bad here at Kansas. Of course, 5 tire sets available, 3 green-white checkers, and 85% fuel in that iRacing fixed setup. But let's take you down trackside now. Get that grid up on your screen. And starting on the pole here today, with a 30.685, it's Philip Brewer in his second race at Saturday Night Racing. Noah Michalski is going to start in the second position on that front row, and then we move on to row number 2. Brandon Bowie, a new name here at SNR in the number 54. Ray Massey in the 4th position. This spot goes to Caleb Weekly in the number 13 with Bailey Turner in 6th position. 7th position goes to Alex Bell, Ryan Carwile in 8th, and rounding out that top 10, it's going to be Gavin Pittman and Joseph McWhorter. A new name there with Gavin.
Yeah, new name and a good qualifying effort for him as well. In 11th place will be our winner, one of our winners this season, Reggie Ortega. In 11th, Jeff Wright, most recent winner, second in the points in his familiar Lowe's Camaro. He starts 12th. 13th position will be the 72 of Jonathan Smith, the Angry Duck Graphics Camaro. 14th will be Ryan Rose in the Brett's Electric Camaro. That's who he will be alongside. 15th, Max Cost, ran all the races, ran the most races in Saturday Night Racing League, which is why he's got Saturday night on his car tonight. Idris Tavato back once again this week. He qualifies 16th. Brandon Wallace 17th, the Miller Genuine Draft Camaro. Bryce Shoemaker alongside him in another Camaro heavy tonight. And then rounding out the top 20, Joshua Banks, who was fast last week but couldn't get the victory. He's starting closer to the back than we'd expect. Case Lacadas starts 20th.
It's that first Toyota that we've seen in a minute. Going to start in that 20th position. 21st goes to Keith Shoemaker, Kyle Peacock in 22nd. 23rd, Cameron King with Bobby Patrica in 24th. 25th, Gary Bergeron, Mark McFadden in the 26th position. 27th, Chad Klinger, Carson Marinka in the 28th spot. And we've got about 3 more cars here. Chuck Sweeting with the luck. I hope it turns around here tonight. Stephon Davis in the 30th spot. And Austin Belke is going to round out your field here today. So it's Philip Brewer on the pole. But this track, I mean, you get to the lead, you get to it fast, and you try to hold them off. We've seen racing like this here on V-Speed already this season. But let's go green flag racing for the first time in Saturday Night Racing League at Kansas Speedway. Season 2, we're underway. Lap number 1, it's going to be the 44, but they're 3 wide there for the lead for the moment. And Connor, that was some action all the way through this field. Look at Alex Bell up through the middle for the 3rd position.
They're 4 wide for 3rd, and this shows how hard it is to pass here because everyone's trying to get everything in the first 5 or so laps. So this is going to be the most hectic part of the race, unless we get a late race yellow. But for right now, this is crazy as they almost made contact for the lead, or contact for second almost with Bella Brewer.
And Noah Michalski is going to take over the point here on lap number 2. He's going to get a lap lead. That 0-3 has been strong. This is what Noah needs to do. I mean, everybody's going to get tight coming off of turn 2. We've seen it in practice repeatedly. Guys hitting the wall. Hopefully they got it out of their system, but I probably lost count. If I was etching tally marks into my desk, I probably would have whittled it away with how many people were hitting the wall.
Yeah, it's always a concern here, especially out of turn number 2. The exit of the corner just gets incredibly tight if you're not careful. It doesn't matter what car it is. That the exit of turn 2, it just pushes you to the wall. Just saw someone hit the wall for turn number 1. That's a trouble spot if you just fired in too hard. I think that was Bobby Patrica who hit it, but not too much damage done as they're 3 wide in the back of the pack. But exit of turn 2, that's where you got to be really looking out.
And riding on board with one of the new drivers, Gavin Pittman. He started in 10th. He's up one. Well, he's actually started in 9th. But you see how hard it is to pass here. He's down on the inside of 3 and 4. And as he comes off the exit, that speed starts to match down these straightaways. And anything that you lost on the entry of the turn, you gain it right back down that straightaway. It's going to be so tough over and over and over. You're going to be to the inside trying to get around a guy. It's so frustrating in Kansas.
Yeah, especially when they all start ganging up on you on the outside. It'll be a conveyor belt around the outside line, much like we'll see at Martinsville in real life tomorrow in the Cup Series, but it's on the outer part of the track here at Kansas in iRacing, to the point where if you don't get back up after trying to attempt a pass, if you fail to make that pass, you're going to be going backwards, and that might be the position Brandon Bowie's going to be in, although everyone behind him will run the bottom. You want to be on the bottom for tire saving, but if you're all packed up like we are all behind Bailey Turner and even up here with Caleb Weekly in the battle for third, you're not going to have the opportunity to do that.
Riding on board now with the number 13 and some contact there. 73 was not clear, came up in front of the 13 car. Caleb cut him a break there, but this is in the name of we need the position now, and if you want to be a little aggressive here early, that's the time to do it, because later on in this run, you're going to see everybody single file out. If you're still running the bottom, good luck.
Yeah, no, I'm sure Caleb Weekly will remember that. Just pretty much got used up as much as you can get used up at Kansas. Like you said, McWhorter was not clear, and Caleb definitely cut him a big break. Could have just wrecked both of them, but too early to do that. But Weekly, right, if he races him later, we'll definitely remember that. As we're starting to get a little bit more sorted out, at least the top 5 for single file, but 6th on back, still a bit of a battle. Jeff Wright just got by Ray Massey for that position, as Alex Bell is actually seeing more drivers in multiple lanes than we thought. Seeing an entire top 6 running top and bottom, as Bell gets a little bit of a shot from McWhorter for 2nd down the back straightaway, as these two, like I was talking about, running different lanes right now. So it's hard. We're seeing drivers utilize that bottom on the short run. We'll see if that lasts on the long run, as McWhorter's making up a lot of time on that high side.
Yeah, and the experience that I had at the racetrack, it was more of a, you could run the bottom for the first 10 or so laps. It would save the tires, and maybe that's what Bell's trying to do. The problem with that is, save all the tires you want. As soon as you get behind a guy, good luck getting around him. Just a really difficult place to pass.
Oh, crash! And Kyle Peacock on the back straightaway, and Bobby Patrica just came into contact down the back, and the caution's out, lap 9.
And our first yellow, this is pretty early for Saturday night. But we're going to go lap number 9 with the 83 around here on the backstretch.
Decent bit of damage left rear, I think, mainly, but he should be able to continue with that. Don't know how much Patrica got from that, as he was able to drive away pretty easily. We'll get the replay here, and this might be a case of running out of room out of turn number 2, which it gets so tight out of the corner like we were talking about. It's easy to run out of room there. Tries to be outside. I think one of the shoemakers, and Patrica forces it 3 wide, and I heard Patrica on the radio that he was there the whole time, but
he was there, but he was in the wall. I mean, he had already run out of room.
Yeah, that's kind of racing. You got someone, I don't think Peacock was really expecting Patrica to try that. And that just happens when you got 2 guys going for the same piece of real estate. That'll happen at any track we go to.
Well, apparently we have a Get Loud frame on here, so we're going to try to fix that now. It's giving away a little sneak peek there.
Oh, yeah, that's exclusive. You usually have to pay for that.
Yeah, I'm going to just kindly hide that, and we'll get to that at halfway.
Got some strategy here as well. I didn't really expect too many people to pit after 10, 11 laps, but kind of a split strategy. As a matter of fact, I think more people actually came to pit lane than stayed out. McWhorter and Mahalski, the top 2, stayed out, but I'm only seeing about 10 cars that stayed out.
I mean, track position is so key. Even these guys that come down and get 4 fresh tires, they're going to have a difficult time. They might be a little bit faster for 4 or 5 laps, but I think it's going to even out relatively quickly. Based off the lap times that we were seeing, they'd only fallen off about 3/10. I don't think that it's going to matter this much this early.
I wouldn't think so. I think we'll see these guys maintain decent track position, but the fact that so many pit is still pretty surprising to me. Noah Mahalski's going to get the lead out of this or keep the lead out of this. The fall off, his best lap was a 30.922, and his most recent lap up to speed was about 0.6 off of that. Joe McWhorter's fall off was only about 0.4, so there is something there. Tires wore a little bit in that short amount of time, and who knows, maybe those guys who pit might be trying a different fuel strategy, but at 85, whatever it is, I think it's 85% fuel tanks in this league. Pitting at lap 10, you'd probably have to pit about lap 75, and I don't see these drivers making it on 65 laps on the tanks, so probably no fuel strategy there, just trying to get some track position. Their goal really here is to hope it goes green and they can use these fresher tires to the advantage for the rest of the race.
10 cars to cushion here, back to Jerry Bergeron in the 10th position in the one car. Noah Michalski's going to lead them off into turn 1. He's going to elect to start on the outside. Wise move there with the 73 McWhorter. And we'll get set to go back green for the second time today. Very early caution. Two cars involved. Bobby Petrika, Kyle Peacock both get their damage repaired down on pit road. We're going to restart back here in the 30th and 31st position.
And honestly, it might, the time to get tires might be now as well, because as the night settles in, it's going to get a little bit harder to pass, I think, because the speeds are going to ramp up as the track gets lit and the track temps come down, so it's going to get harder to pass. So another reason to utilize fresh tires now.
If you know Michalski, you got to take that into consideration as well. This race is going to start under daylight. It's going to end under moonlight. Green flag is out. Let's see that light stay out. I don't want to see any more yellows. Green flag, back to racing. Already, challenges for position, 3 wide into 1.
Well, Alex Bell's being aggressive on the apron. I don't even know if that's legal in NASCAR, but he went to the apron before turn number 1 and got some position from Chad Klinger and Jeff Wright out of it. And it's going to be a race.
Some more 3 wide to the bottom.
What I was going to say, didn't mean to cut you off. It's going to be a race between these guys on fresher tires to get to the front first, get clean air before anyone else.
Jeff Wright being really aggressive as well. He drops down to the bottom of the racetrack. You see these guys cut that dog leg, as they call it, the tri-oval here at this racetrack. Pick up a 0.5 or so, but wow, Bell just cutting the doors. He just slammed it shut on the 54. Brandon Bowie just cut him a break as well. There's been a lot of give here.
Yeah, there's a lot of give from others getting used up by the guys who are taken, and the 15's been the one taken as well as the 73. That will go away later in this race, and the drivers who've been given will remember that and probably not do that as much anymore. As Jeff Wright going 3 wide under Bailey Turner, trying to keep pace with Alex Bell, getting really tight up there. It's really tight in the back. They're all over the place, about 12th on back.
Yeah, it's still going to be a chaotic move here to the inside, offset 4 wide. That was Stravato there in the middle in the 33. He has the 50 of Lapadas on the back bumper, the 09 on the outside of Chad Klinger. This is outside the top 10. This is just around the 15th position. And these guys with newer tires breaching their way into the top 10. Another moment there right in front of Ray Massey.
It is incredibly tight. These restarts are so important here, and there's so many. You think there's a lot of room. There really isn't in Kansas. You got 3 wide right there, but it really tightens up out of the corners more than you'd expect, and that's what brought out our first yellow. These drivers got to be aware of that if they want to keep their cars clean and in the race.
Challenge for the lead up front. Alex Bell gets to the inside. Noah Michalski can't fend him off, but he is going to surge back on. Give a little bump draft down the back straightaway and take it to the outside.
And he's running a lot exclusively. We had, I think, Carwile and Weekly had some contact out of 4. They are really dicing it up back there as we're going to see Jeff Wright chase down Alex Bell for the lead shortly. But this is 3 wide, almost 3 by 3. They are 3 by 3. It was just Kansas and Bodega.
This is Kansas for sure, and I love it. It's looking great out here. These guys put on a show.
Oh, man. AJ Stravato threading the needle. Richard Dig has some right side door damage, but he's still mixing up in this battle as well. As you can see who has the fresher tires at 33 and a 50. You can see everyone else they're going by does not have the same grip level.
Tell you what, Caleb Weekly was up there in the top 3 there for a moment. Now, 72 into the wall, overshot the entry to 1.
That's the second time I've seen someone do that tonight. I don't know. I feel like you know what you're gonna do in turn 1. So just if you have a braking mark or at least a liftoff mark and you lose that, you kind of go straight into that fence. That's twice tonight already.
Off the back of Caleb Weekly's number 13. Mountain awareness, number 13 is trying to maintain the top 10. He's got 2 cars trying to overtake him. The 33 is Stravano to the bottom. The number 2 of Ortega on the back bumper. Movement in front of him, though. Very turbulent there with Philip Brewer. Remember, he was the pole sitter here tonight. He's down 6 spots now, back to 7. 3 wide here, Pekin.
I believe he was one of those drivers who did not pit, so split strategy. Bell and Jeff Red are really the drivers who have done a great job getting through the field. No one else on fresh tires. Oh, Weekly made contact with McWhorter there, so that's the second time they've came together, but at least they kept it straight. But really only the top 2 have gone through the field that quickly. Case Lakatos is only the 3rd driver to get up there. He's starting to pull away from this battle for what is now 4th. I believe Carwile, also on fresher tires, going to get to the front.
Weekly, even with fresher tires than some of these other guys, hasn't moved up quite as fast. He's just now getting back to where he began this race. He's 2 down from where he started in 5th. But down to the bottom here of Noah Michalski, or Mahalski. I knew I would mess it up at least once tonight. Yeah, it's been a tactical strategy to pit that early, but it paid off for the top 3. Jeff Wright to the lead now. He's to the bottom of Alex Bell.
Whoa, man, not so fast. Bell's going to battle him hard for this track position for the clean air on the nose. They had been running the bottom exclusively, those 2. And now they have a bit of a lead over everyone else. It's another 1.6 seconds back to Case Lakatos in 3rd. They're kind of mirror driving. At least the 15 might be mirror driving the 48 a little bit, trying to keep dirty air on his nose and almost put right into the wall doing so. So that's going to be a tactic that Bell tries to use to keep that 48 at bay for hopefully what they're hoping for an entire long run. They're still 3 wide back there. I think that's for about 21st. They were almost 3 wide for.
It's a hornet's nest as you work your way deeper and deeper in this field. There is the 24 leading this group. Bailey Turner has them all behind him. He has his work cut out for him. He's on some old tires, and he's still got a lot of fresh ones behind.
And that battle for the lead continues to heat up. Got right back to the inside of Alex Bell. As you can see that gap for Lakatos coming down because they're side by side. They made contact out of turn number 4. Neither driver wants to give an inch here as the 15's going to swoop out, not give the 48 side draft. And we'll see how high he runs as he pinched the 48. He's going to run high, not really pinch him too much. He's coming down the track now, though, on corner exit, where it's really important to pinch the driver on the bottom off. You can see Jeff Wright, no drive off the corner from the bottom.
And you'll probably see Wright work this bottom line a couple more times and then work his way up to the top of the racetrack. And yeah, 15 just taking the line away as much as he can. That's what you do here at Kansas. It's all defense. Once you get to the lead, it's all defense because everybody around you is just as fast, but they can't do anything with it.
We'll see right here how much longer Alex Bell can withstand this pressure. Because I think Jeff Wright is faster. We just keep talking about it. It is going to take a while to make this pass work. Before you know it, if he doesn't get it done in time, you might have Case Lakatos or Ryan Carwile. Those drivers might be there soon as he's going to go to the outside, maybe try to get the run off the corner, a little bit of a diamond move to get a run into turn number 1. And I would not be surprised to see him try and pull some sort of slide job maybe into turn number 1. Bell's going to chase him down the track trying to withstand this move, but I don't know how much longer he can keep this up.
Right is clear here. Crossover maneuver here for the 15. That was close. And now down the backstretch.
We had a mini crash in the back. Mark McFadden has left front damage. It seems like they had a crash in turn number 1, but they kept it green as that battle for the lead still goes on. I'm sure we're going to look at that at some point, but I think Jeff Wright's got the positioning to keep this lead now.
We'll take the outside line now into turn 1. Bell not able to hold the grip that Wright was holding in the entry of this corner, and it looks like the 48's going to take it over. So back here with Mark McFadden, we're looking at the front end of that machine. Got a little bit of damage on the right side. Let's see if we can go back and figure out what happened to him.
Looked like a turn number 1 incident. We have a V-speed instant replay. Oh, they had something happen in turn 4 to stack this all up. We're 4 wide. Ooh,
Oh.
and I don't think everyone got the memo. Joshua Banks cut down on him. They somehow saved it, but
How do you save that?
I don't know. He went on the apron and everything. They got the worst end of that deal for sure. As Bell's going back to the lead, but yeah, McFadden, nothing he could do. I don't think Banks really knew they were 4. I think he came down thinking they were 3, and McFadden was just there. So not much he can do there. They keep it green with all sorts of drivers on the apron. And meanwhile, we had a lead change. Bell got back by the 48 out of turn number 2 using that higher line.
I stand corrected.
Me too.
Thought maybe it was gone, and maybe the high line was where it was at this point.
Yeah, they actually made contact a little bit in turn 3. I didn't even note that when I saw the 15 get the lead back. But lap 29 in the turn 3, they had a disagreement on who was taking the bottom and who was taking the top, and that got Bell back in the lead. I don't think there's too much damage to the 48, and they should be all good, but they lost. They didn't really even lose that much time to the drivers behind, but now we're starting to see that 15 almost extend that gap again.
Caleb Weekly has worked his way back into the top 5, up to 4th position. Looks like those fresh tires have paid off for the top 9.
Side by side in the back. I think that's our first side-by-side battle. It's for about 6th. Ada Travado's making his way up, just past Casey Lacatus. A little bit of squeeze into the wall, but no damage done as Lacatus starting to fall a little bit after he did get up to 3rd. Max Cost trying to get up past him as well. As seems like all these mini incidents we've had have sort of straightened things out just a little bit more than they were.
Toss to the bottom of Lacatus. The guy that led some laps to begin this race on older tires, the 0-3. Mahalski has fallen all the way back to 10th position, but he's since went stagnant here. He's not fallen anymore. He's got a tall order, though, to catch up to these guys in front of him. 5 tire sets, 4 for some of this field, still 5 available for the rest. And you look at McWhorter, he was another one of those cars that did not hit the pit road. I think the tires have evened out now because he has a couple guys behind him, Bryce Shoemaker, trying to get around Philip Brewer. They just can't get it.
I would think so. It seems like we're getting to that point where there's kind of a crossover period where they even out. We're seeing Jeff Wright's times not really that much faster than the 0-3 of Mahalski's. As a matter of fact, I think Mahalski might have been a touch faster, or their times were almost identical last time by. That could be the tires evening out, but it also could be a little bit of damage on the 48 from the contact with Alex Bell. He's since gone back to that bottom line. And Alex Bell is pulling away. He's back up to a half-second lead as Brian Carlisle is closing in on the 48.
But it's going to be interesting because this track transitions so quickly. As soon as the sun's completely down, you're going to see that outside line just vibrant. Everybody's going to move up there. It's going to migrate. And I'd have to say that Bell, maybe Mahalski, those guys that were a lot more comfortable, I think, on the outside, they'll have a better time.
I would think so. We'll just have to wait and see. We shouldn't even be that far away from pit stops. We're on lap 35. The drivers who haven't pit, they might be about 10 laps away from pitting, maybe 10 to 15. Those guys who did pit at our yellow on lap number 10, they might go just a little bit longer to even out their stints a little bit more. So not too far away from trying to get new tires, as track position is going to be important, and undercutting someone might be important here at a track that's a little bit tough to pass, as that lead's going to tighten up once again. Jeff Wright getting back on the gas pedal.
Ryan Carlisle sitting up here in the 3rd position. We saw it 2 weeks ago, just before Easter break here at SNR. The 71 machine was tough. Just couldn't quite get it done. Hey, Ryan Carlisle has really turned up the heat here just before chase time.
Speaking of heat, here comes the Lowe's Camaro. He got a big run off of the top side out of turn number 4, and he almost cleared the 15 before they even made it to turn number 1. As I think he might have been saving tire, kind of fooling me a little bit, but this is going to be tough to pull off the pass. A little bit of a slide job, hit the wall a little bit, but he's still got enough overlap. He might be able to keep this lead. It's funny, I don't remember Jimmy Johnson and Michael Waltrip battling for the lead much.
But you're seeing it here on V-Speed, and I thought for sure that Bell would cut the dog leg there and take that tri-oval mark, but he did not. Now dives it into 1. This is not his stronger turn. 3 and 4, he's really matched the speed of the outside line, but 1 and 2, such an advantage for Jeff Wright. Bell's going to have to move around here a little bit, trying to figure this out, because Carlisle's hot on his tail now.
Might have to wait on a mistake. The reason he got the lead back was because Jeff Wright got tight out of turn 2, had to lift, let Bell get a run back and retake the lead. So it might take something like that. I think at this point in the run, this is when Jeff Wright, no matter what track it is, this is where he thrives. This is when he pulls away and kind of pulls your heart out, just pulls 2-second gaps usually. So we'll see if he could do the same here tonight. See if he makes a mistake this time. Not quite. Bell was faster out of the corner, so maybe clean air, maybe a disadvantage. I've seen that in the past. It could be another case, but it seems like it's tough to pull away right now.
Ride the seam up on that outside. You see Bell with a run again through 3 and 4. Just wonder though, 40 laps in, Bell and Wright both on equal tires. Who's going to use them up first?
Well, who's going to get used up by the guy in fresh tires? Mark McFadden came to pit lane. I don't know what I thought he was, but he's just a guy on fresh tires. He's now 3 laps down, trying to get one of these three back here. He's going to back out late, just let these guys battle it out as Bell to the bottom to take the lead. I think that caught Jeff Wright by surprise because of a lap traffic as the 15 gets back to the front.
We're trading the laps here. The 5 and McFadden trying to get one of his laps back. He'll be back on the lead lap if he can get to the inside here. He will, and there it is officially. He'll be 1 lap down when he crosses the line. So you got 2 laps down for McFadden. You just got one of them back. You have Chad Klinger and Jerry Bergeron. I'm not sure. Some of these guys apparently came down pit road a little bit sooner than you anticipated, Connor. They probably half of the gap you thought.
Yeah, looking at Chad Klinger, we restarted lap 13. He came down lap 28, so definitely earlier than I would have anticipated. I don't know if he's expecting a 3-stop if this goes green. That's very aggressive. We're seeing a decent amount of fall off. I don't think it's enough for that, but maybe just trying something different. Klinger started at the back of the field. Didn't really gain too much from back there, so just maybe trying something different to get some momentum for this season. Taking momentum, Bill trying to keep some and keep the race lead. These guys are all over the place, battling for 10th on back, but this battle won't go away. They keep swapping it, and Ryan Carwell is just thinking, man, I want my turn. It's my turn to lead. This is going to get tight out of turn 2. They made contact that time.
Little touch there on the right rear quarter panel of Jeff Wright. Broke up the momentum. Now they're going to be door-to-door going into 3. Ryan Carwile on the outside. He's going to peek 3 wide. Get some fresh air to that nose and try to go to the inside of Bell. But Jeff Wright back to the point.
But watch this run. Look at that crossover move. He goes all the way to the bottom, goes to the apron. This time, Wright chased them back down there. But once again, Bell's probably going to get this lead back into turn number 1 if he chooses to take it. He didn't want a slide job. He stays on the bottom, but watch this run Jeff Wright will get. But it seems like Jeff Wright's a little too tight. Bell actually got a better run. And look who's joined. That's AJ Stravato. Where did he come from?
Somewhere around the 13th position on this restart. Now he's up to the top 5. Caleb Weekly working his way closer. These guys have been racing side by side. They have allowed 4 other cars to pretty much show up and ruin the party.
Caleb Weekly not too far behind. Reggie Ortega, the front of the pack's getting a little bit stacked up at this point. We might see drivers try to undercut this battle and gain time with clean air as they keep crossing each other over for this race lead. Jeff Wright, maybe a little side drive there. Ryan Carwell's the most patient driver here because now Stravato goes to his inside. We're 2 by 2 at the front.
Carwile moves to the inside of Jeff Wright coming across the start-finish line. Challenge for 2nd position. Stravato also going to be a challenger here soon, but now a challenge for the lead to the inside there briefly. Alex Bell doing all he can. He's got 7 different people here trying to take it away from him.
Well, it sure feels like. Well, I think Jeff Wright wanted the clean air, and he fought so hard to get it from Alex Bell to the point where both him and Bell drove their stuff off, and this is allowing everyone else to get back into this fight, specifically everyone who took tires last caution. It's allowing all those guys to get into this fight. Carwell's going to pass the 48. 48 might start going backwards here, and if Alex Bell's not careful, he will too.
Everybody migrates to the high line. There's the 71, and Carlisle has the line here in 1 and 2. They get a big run down the back straightaway. Where does he take it, though?
Bell's going to block. Carwell doesn't feel like going to the bottom that time here, as got called. Joseph McWhorter's pitting. Noah Mahowski's pitting. So this is about when I expected some drivers to come down. Lap 47. Seems 373 sliding a little bit, but he might get it down. I think Philip Brewer came down as well. Ray Massey there. So this is going to open up everything.
Oh, 28 cars around, coming to the entrance of pit road.
He might be okay. He might have hit the line slow enough to where that's not speeding, but definitely a mistake. There's at least 6 or 7 cars that lap. None of the leaders coming down this time. As it almost reminds me of Vegas in a Gen 4 car last season. Like 6 drivers under a blanket for the race win before that green-white checker.
We've already had 6 changes for the lead. That's about 5 more than I thought we would have here today. Carlisle's going to try to make it number 7. A little contact there with the 15, the 33,
Oh,
Jeff Wright, and the 48 loose.
I don't think Carwell thought the 15 was going to pinch him, and that just gave Alex Bell a huge gap that he could work with here. We might see drivers. I wonder if anyone wants to pit to get out of this, but it's not going to be the case. I don't know if Carwell was trying to pit or not. He slowed down a lot out of the corner.
It was tight.
He might be having real tire issues. A lot more drivers came down behind. Rose,
He's got heavy
Bowie,
damage on the back end, too.
all 5 drivers from Turner to Pittman hit that time. We'll see. See if Travato can get the lead now. He's complaining over the radio about someone being smarter than that. So he wasn't happy with how that happened at turn number 2. It did get him to 2nd place.
The move there to the inside. The 71 got some damage from that. Jeff Wright falls back to 3rd. Caleb Weekly up to 4th spot. Reggie Ortega in the top 5.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much damage the 71 got on the back bumper. He got loose, and I guess him getting hit by the 33, the whole rear bumper is taken off of that car. And some reason with the new damage model, if that rear bumper gets damaged or knocked off, you lose so much speed. So that's really going to be his competitive race done until he can repair that possibly. As still waiting on the top 5 to pit from Ortega to Alex Bell. They're all staying out.
Brandon Wallace, the last car that has not hit pit road yet. Actually, Carson Marinka is going to bring it down, so he's in the pit stall.
Nice fire suits.
Yeah.
I don't think that's something good. But yeah, it's 99 is the only driver who hasn't. Well, he's one of the drivers who hasn't pit period for sure. Or at least he might be the only, like you said. This driver's definitely stretching a little longer than he might want to with all the other drivers that already pit.
Vaughn Davis came down pit road during those stops, but he elected to take fuel only in the number 66. He's sitting back here in the 14th position, 6.2 in the box the last time. He's on the same stint as these drivers in front of him, but you see here, a little off the pace because of the tires, 11 lap difference. I know that doesn't seem like much, but at Kansas, that's a lot. Bryce Shoemaker had a moment there. He lost the position to, he's coming down pit road.
Shoemaker's in. He's following Jeff Wright and Reggie Ortega down as well. Alex Bell should be due this time by, as the car just almost hit the wall out of turn 4, but he kept it straight. So I think the 15 sees the 33 bearing down on him now, and he also probably saw the 48 come down, and he's thinking, I am not giving him the track position. I'm coming down right now. As 15 goes to the bottom in 3 and 4, and he will hit the brakes late as the 33 takes the lead now. And he should be on. That's a pretty smooth entry.
Well done there for Alex Bell, the leader, as he came into pit road. AJ Servano going to stay out another lap. He's going to get a lap red. 33 car 13 of weekly, max cost, Chuck Sweeting. How about that? Sweeting up 25 positions just before pit stops. I mean, yeah, he'll probably level back off somewhere around the 11th position, but you gotta respect it. This guy, I just want him to have a finished race, you know? It's been a struggle for Chuck all season long, and I know the talent that this guy has behind the wheel. He absolutely can pull off a win. I just like to see him get his finish here this season.
And we all know he's talented. It's just a matter of him just getting something going his way, because there hasn't been much of that yet. As looking at Alex Bell coming off a pit road, not too far behind Sweeting, but even the one lap of undercutting is going to get Jeff right in front of the 15 by a decent bit. Stravato from the lead's going to come down. That's going to put Caleb Weekly in the lead for the time being. Still waiting on a lot of front runners to come down. Max Costa's in. Now here comes Chuck Sweeting the pit. This won't leave any more than maybe 7 or 8 cars left out of pit lane.
Cycling through, Caleb Weekly, one of those cars was up into the top 5. Probably going to bring it down pit road this time around.
Now, losing, if you want fresher tires on this stint, sure, but definitely not going to be pitting from the top side unless he's Quinn Houff. And I would not recommend being Quinn Houff pitting from the top lane, as he's going to stay out one more lap. This will be lap 58 he begins. And we might only have about 5 more cars to pit. Weekly, Davis, Kyle Peacock as well, who was involved in caution number 1. He's actually going to come down. 66 will have to pit for tires eventually, and I don't believe Case Lacatus has been in pit lane yet. So
the only caution here today was the 83. He's bringing it down now from the top 5. Avi Patrica was one of the cars that had troubles on pit road, but there's the 83 into his stall.
And here comes Caleb Weekly. Race leader brings it down. The 66, Stephen Davis, also said he would bring it down pit road. I just realized the 66 and 99 are pretty much identical team cars tonight, so they might be bringing it down at the same time. Matter of fact, the 66 goes around on entry, though. Here comes his teammate, seeing what the heck happened up here. He's going to have to get it back going. Thankfully for him, his stall's right there, so might not hurt him as bad as it would have. Got 2 Rusty Wallaces.
Was that intentional? Don't know.
They're in the same Discord, so I would think so.
Jason Lacatus, and then number 50 is your leader right now. Joseph McWhorter, after his pit cycle, he's going to take over the lead, and that should do it for all the pit stops here.
Yeah, Lacatus is going to come down now, lap 59. His fall off was extreme. He was in the 35. He ran a 35.1 last time by. He might have even had a tire down with the speed that slow, so he goes later than anyone. I don't think that's going to help him much. As like you said, McWhorter is going to take the lead. He pit lap 47. Lap 47 he came down the pit lane, and it wasn't too much earlier than everyone else, but he did get the race lead out of it.
Riding on board with Noah Mahalski last time by about a tenth faster, just under a 10. Watch and see this battle develop, because 7/10 of a second separate these two drivers as they go into turn 1, that dwindling down. Mahalski's a little bit faster on the exits.
A little bit faster on the exits, but the 73 is pushing those entries a little bit more, but it's not really working for him right now. They have identical tires, pit the same exact lap for both these guys, which is why they have the lead they do over Jeff Wright, who stayed out a little longer. That gap's 3 seconds, but it's coming down fast. You can see the ticker on the left side of the screen. Court will be there in no time. He's actually still got to get by Ray Massey for the 3rd position, but I want to bet Mahalski wants to at least get the track position over Joseph McWhorter before that 48 gets there.
Yeah, down to under half a second now. Here's a pass for the 3rd position. Ray Massey on the outside, really close to the exit wall. That's what you got to do here if you want to try to battle. But 4 laps difference on the tires, not going to be enough. And there goes Jeff Wright.
Look out. Gonna split
Rewind
Big
there.
Ten. Yeah, there's a tight exit there, as McWhorter's now got another lap car between him and Mahalski, but that won't last long, because the 99's on probably the freshest tires out of everyone besides the 50. Mahalski's progress has slowed just a little bit.
So now with that lap traffic out of the way, we talked about dirty air, how disadvantaged you can be. Halski probably in that bubble now where he's having to lift a little bit longer, not getting quite the drive off that he was getting before. And even if he gets to the back bumper of McWhorter, where does he go?
Hey, he can either try to go to the bottom, which would probably be a losing battle. He could try entering, but what I would do if you're trying to pass someone at this point in the race, you got to get on their bumper, close to their bumper, into the corner, get them loose a little bit, really disrupt their entry as the 15 and the 24 battle for 8th. But if you get close enough to their bumper on quarter entry, you're probably going to make them hesitate to get back on the throttle. They'll be a little bit too sideways to get back on the throttle. Then you swoop under them, get the run down the straightaway or through the tri-oval, and slide up right in front of them in the middle of the corner and try to keep that track position off the corner, get the run off the top, and hope they don't slide job you right back. Saw Jeff Wright try that earlier, it worked, but he lost the lead right back. If you're smart about it, you can keep the lead.
The inside, the 0-5 of Carson Marinko. We put a little bit deeper as he's a lap down back in 27th position. Jeff Wright on the charge. He's got it down to 1.3 seconds. Noah Michalski, 0.3 of a second. Now starting to work that bottom line.
Just looking for clean air until he gets to the 73. Then he might try something different, because running in their wake is going to hurt your tires, and eventually you're just going to start losing time to them again. So no fault in trying something different, just getting the clean air on the nose. As you said, the 48 past Marenka. That Marenka is still in position for the lucky dog for the time being. He's a little bit ahead of Chad Klinger, who's probably going to pass him in a few laps time here. A little bit of a hornet's nest. With Brandon Bowie up to 5th on older tires. Alex Bell's going by him right now just in front of this battle with the 09 and 35. A few more differing tire strategies here as they're all stacking up around each other on the back straightaway.
And right now only separated by half a second from Halski, and Halski 0.2. Out for the lead is going to be hot in about 5 laps, but this is probably the perfect opportunity. I know I gave a little sneak peek of what we were trying to show you here tonight, but if you have a volume knob or a volume button, a remote, smart device, whatever you got going on, it's the perfect opportunity to get loud here today. Let's turn up that volume. 29 graphics. So we got loud there for a few laps. Noah Michalski never did get to see the lead. He peaked there on the inside, and McWhorter now finds himself getting kind of overlapped by some cars that are trying to get back on the lead lap, but ultimately that move to the 73 cost him a little time. Jeff Wright took advantage of it.
Yeah, he did a very tough move to go through the middle while the 03 was washing up. It ended up working out, got him the race lead. Hasn't pulled away from McWhorter as much as I thought he would quite yet, but he's really the big winner because he stayed out. He was one of the longest drivers staying out, and he got a big gap over the 15 of Alex Bell. Jeff Wright pulled about 2 seconds on him. But more importantly than that, he got in front of all the lap traffic and all the other slower traffic on older tires that the 15 struggled with. As a matter of fact, he's gotten passed by the 33 on fresher tires. So the strategy, the lap Alex Bell pit has definitely not worked out for him. might be working out better for the 33, who's one of the faster drivers on track right now.
Last time by, Jeff Wright ran a 32.8. AJ Stravado a 32.2. So he's catching up to him. It's just a matter of will he be able to pass and get around these guys before Jeff Wright checks out.
We might have a battle for second before we have a battle for second. Maybe that might end up letting the 48 get away as Chad Klinger's coming on fresh tires. He must be on a three-stop strategy, which is odd, but we'll see how it shakes out as he's now the lucky dog position currently. Mahalski just has not been able to get by the 73 of McWhorter, and soon enough the 33 is going to be there to take advantage, just like Jeff Wright did. As this is really spread out the field. First place to 18th place, separated by about 10 seconds on track.
Well, it's been a fun one so far. 74 laps in here at Kansas Speedway, Saturday Night Racing League. Under the lights. We're going to take a quick commercial break. More coverage continues from Kansas right after this.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs.
From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items.
Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
In the heartland of our country, something magical is happening. At Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes, we know the power of community, of hands coming together to create wonders. These costumes are symbols of love, compassion, and inclusion. Your hands can craft dreams. Join us at Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes build events and be a part of something extraordinary.
Introducing Tractor USA, the best way to buy and sell premium ag and construction equipment. Tractor USA was designed to be straightforward, simple, and affordable with zero commission and live auctions every week. Tractor USA auctions offer the finest selection of pre-owned tractors, combines, and other ag and construction equipment from across the United States and the world. Simply go to tractorusa.com to get started today.
Back here live from Kansas Speedway. 78 laps complete to come off of turn number 4 across the line. Jeff Wright is your leader. He's officially led 16 of those laps. He started back in the 12th position. It took him a minute, but now that the turbulence has stopped, he's going to maintain it for now. AJ Stravado is chasing him down.
And we are getting that point once again where these tires are evening out, but the 33 has gotten just that bit closer. And more importantly than that, he got away from the battle for third, which is now about a 3-car battle, plus the lap car of Stephen Davis and third BF as they are banging doors for the 5th position, actually, with Mahalski and Bell, as 03 just has not been able to get by Joseph McWhorter. And now it's Alex Bell who's going to try to get both of them in one swoop.
Alex Bell was another one of those cars that started battling with Jeff Wright, but it seemed like the pit strategy here, Connor, it just didn't work out for the 15 car, and he couldn't navigate the traffic as well, so that's another factor. How do you get on and off pit road? How much time do you lose in that hole? Not quite there.
Oh.
How much time do you lose, though, on pit road, and then when you're trying to navigate these guys with older tires? Yeah, you got fresher tires to go to the inside. But the run here, you see off the outside, it's just so much faster.
Yeah, it's really tough to do anything. In the 48, it was 1 lap difference. He only went 1 lap further than the 48 of Jeff Wright, but that 1 lap earlier pitting for the 48 got him in front of slower traffic, and he didn't have to make as many passes, use up his tires as much to get back through the field to get to the race lead. By staying out that extra lap, the 15 got in all that traffic, had to battle some cars really, really hard to get back to where he is now, in maybe the 3rd position. He's going to be battling the border for that spot now, but now you're pretty much going to be on a sort of a defensive strategy where, in Alex Bell's case, he's probably going to have to pit earlier than everyone else this time around to get that track position back. And even then, as we're seeing with the 73 and 03, you're probably not going to keep that track position. So just 1 lap is all the difference for some drivers from winning a race and maybe just being about top 3, as Mahalski got loose. It seemed like he got loose on the transition of the apron.
Go back here around the 15th through 17th position. Bryce Shoemaker currently riding in 17th. Trying to get around Gavin Pittman in his debut. Both these cars have been racing relatively close for quite a few laps. With the change for position, kind of went stagnant. Car in the wall though. Gavin makes a mistake, and that'll allow Bryce Shoemaker to get on by.
Yeah, that was not too big of a hit. That was more of a scrape, but you get on the wall at most of these tracks on iRacing, you kind of get glued to it. So that Hendrick car's Camaro pulls back to 17th. It's not a terrible debut. Anytime your first race in a series, you qualified top 10, that's pretty solid.
Joshua Banks, Philip Brewer going at it in 3 and 4. This is inside the top 10 for 8th position. Banks not able to complete the pass. They're using each other up here, trying to get around, and they lose a little bit more time to Ray Massey, who's worked his way up to 7th after these pit stops. It's just so interesting how these cycle through. We have about 3 different guys on 3 different strategies. The most interesting one to me right now is the 09 of Chad Klinger. You see him just behind your leader, Jeff Wright. He's trying to get his lap back right now, and he's kind of committed there. There's that other stop that we were talking about. He's committed to it.
Brandon Bowie spinning out of 4. He saved it. Bowie's still trying to save it back up the track. McWhorter called he was pitting, and I don't think someone didn't get the memo, and Bowie got clipped. So McWhorter's in. They somehow saved it. We're still green. And I think it was Stephen Davis. I think it was Stephen Davis that didn't get the memo.
I'm just struggling to find this car out here on the racetrack right now.
66, 73, they were all involved in it, 54 as well. It's an early stop, lap 85. That is 55 laps he's going to have to go on 1 set from here for McWhorter. As we'll see what happened. I heard him. He called pitting. We'll see what Stephen Davis did here. I don't think he heard him. Oh, yeah, that was tight. And then behind him, you can see Bowie had the slide to avoid and probably made some contact with the 66. But they somehow got through it. As Chad Klinger just came off pit road again. That is what an off strategy he's having.
And he came back down pit road and assumed that maybe he didn't take tires, or, oh man, that's contact enough to cause damage on the 66. So what a save.
And that was, I don't even know. That was weird. It's like the 54. I don't know if he has a lot of rear brake in it, but it's almost like he slammed the brakes and immediately it jumped sideways. It almost looked more like he shifted down. That was really, really weird. But meanwhile, that all happened. He had a lead change.
And it's still going on here, but I want to back this up one more time. I apologize to anybody that's getting epilepsy from our replays, but let's back this up and see how it happened. Here you're riding with AJ Stravato. There's Jeff Wright in front. This is coming out of turn 2. Wright didn't get a very good run there into the backstretch. So I think this is where it's starting to set up.
Oh, he's in the wall.
Yep.
Got in the wall, grabbed him like glue, and had no momentum off the corner. 33 takes advantage, and that's a big mistake for Jeff Wright to make. You want the lead entering pit stops, and now he loses control of the race. That's a rare mistake, I should say, from Jeff Wright. He does not do that often.
So AJ Stravato takes over the lead on lap number 88, and he's led 5 laps now today. guess that would be 85. I don't think he's led any laps prior to this. Maybe he did. He did stay out. So I think we're right on point there. But you look at Alex Bell. He's creeping his way closer to this pack as well. Just, I mean, perseverance right now for the 15 car. Even though he was on a different strategy and his stint is a lap less than Jeff Wright, but 2 laps more than Stravado, he's still making up ground right now.
And the pace everyone pit around the 50 lap mark, 50 to 55. At least these 3 were around that mark. So we're still probably 10, 15 laps away from their next set of stops. It'll end up working if he keeps making up ground. As far as the top 10 drivers go, last time by, he was the fastest driver on track by about a 10th over the 33. He was 2/10 faster than Jeff Wright last time by, and this time around, he's another 10th faster than the 48, half a 10th faster than the 33 of Stravado. So 15, even though he had to do a lot of work to get back to 3rd, he's making up good ground right now as he lets the lap car keep Shoemaker by. Shoemaker pit about, really last lap, so he's gonna go long to the end here along with the 73.
So the laps continue to tick away. Some drivers on 3-stop strategy. Some drivers going to stretch this run out as far as they can go, and probably going to be the last stop of the day. But ultimately, the fuel, that's what it comes down to. Is these guys right now probably okay with how the outside line is running. The lights are on now. It's cooled off on this racetrack. Outside's still pretty fast. But you're going to run out of fuel probably within the next 5-6 laps. You're really gonna have to stretch again.
We're gonna start to see stops in the next 10 laps. The driver's just trying to get to the front with strategy. Philip Brewer just pit from 7th, and he almost got clipped by Ortega. Once again, these drivers not hearing each other. I heard Brewer call pitting. Those 2 might not have, because he went to the bottom right behind Philip Brewer in the 44. Either way, they're all clean, made it down. Jonathan Smith's in, so these drivers are gonna try to go as long as they can. They're going to short pit here and then go long to the end, just trying to get track position.
We'll see if it pays off for some of these guys that were outside the top 10. You see Jonathan Smith in the 72 coming down pit road.
Mahalski's in from 4th. Ray Massey's in. He almost made contact. Massey kind of.
That's over the cone.
The cone didn't move. It's a sturdy cone.
It's a sturdy cone, but I think it's going to be a sturdy penalty. That's a close one.
Yeah, iRacing's weird. We'll see if he does get a penalty for that. It should be, but I've seen sometimes you don't get a penalty for that. Those are some of the front runners who've just come down. That's lap 93 for them. No, that's lap 94 for them. Messi's had a decent race. He's at top 10 speed. Top 3 stay out another lap. No one else really pit that time around. Left sides go up. Is Massey able to continue? No. And it is a penalty.
Unfortunate there for the 23 car. He's up in the top 5. He'll be dropping a lap down for sure. AJ Stravado going to stay out another lap up on the outside. Jeff Wright down to the inside line. Alex Bell. So I'm interested to see how far Bell wants to stretch it. Is he going to try to match and get back on the same laps as these guys in front?
I'd like to see. I think 1 lap could make all the difference in winning and losing. It's the same situation he was in last time around, where the 48 beat him the pit lane, ended up getting too far away for the 15 to really challenge until now. It's taken him over 40 laps to get back to Jeff Wright, and he's got the 33 who's faster than him. So you're going to have to consider a short pit if you're the 15. Even the 48, the 33 is getting away. It's over a 2nd lead now, so even Jeff Wright's going to have to consider short pitting by at least 1 lap. These are really the main 3 we're looking at for the race win. They've got about 7 seconds over the next driver in Chuck Sweeting. It was Bailey Turner and Joshua Banks, but they both just came to pit lane together. Best friends find each other all the time, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And I tell you what, 24 locking it up on the front end, really close there on the entrance of pit road, but he's able to get it woed up in time. Looks like the 24 car will be okay. Brandon Bowie comes down as well from about the 8th position when he hit pit road.
Here comes Jeff Wright from 2nd. Oh, he's really trying to hustle it in. How about that? We'll see if that's a penalty. 45 miles an hour you need to be down to, and that's going to be pretty tight. He tried to get everything out of that entry. We'll see if this forces Alex Bell's hand again.
I'm going to go back on the instant replay and take a look at that.
Doesn't force Travado's hand. He'll stay out, but watch this. I knew it was a late commitment. That is incredible. Gosh, so much speed, and he got in clean. He's out and away, so that could win him the race. Just going that fast on pit entry and making it, that could make all the difference he needs.
Yeah, don't try this at home, kids. I wouldn't recommend coming down pit road like that.
No, that was borderline all-star qualifying.
When does Travado decide now's the time? He went a little bit further than right the last time. He had a sizable gap to him, but for every lap he stays out here, that goes away. I think he probably should come down within the next 2 laps.
Problem, it's a tough situation because he wants to stay out long enough to get a decent tire advantage over the 48. But the problem is, laps are winding down. We're at 40 laps to go now. So if you wait to get that tire advantage, you're going to shorten the amount of laps you have to actually catch the driver you're chasing. So yeah, it's really tough to stay out this long because the tire advantage is going to mean less when it's getting as late as it is and how cool the track's getting. So the decision's now. Now he's going to pit, fly by someone on entry. That's a 92 of Cameron King going slowly, as Travado did not waste much time getting back to pit lane. Bell followed him in. Chuck Sweeting followed him in. Still waiting on a lot more drivers. Max Cost also came down there. Reggie Ortega was out. Oh, who's going to keep the lead? Travado's still the leader. Alex Bell. It seems like everyone, I guess, came down that time. This is going to cycle everything out, most likely to Joseph McWhorter, who pit incredibly early. Travado's out in front of Bell. Chuck Sweeting not too far behind. And now we'll see the rejoin with the 48. Jeff Wright's already by him. You can see it's a pretty sizable gap from the 48 to the 33. 3 seconds, it might even be 4 seconds by the time Travado gets up to speed.
And it's looking somewhere around the 5-second mark now. Travado falls out of the top 5. Now he will make pretty quick work of these 2 cars right here in front of him, and then it's a pretty clear shot from 5th position, Joshua Banks up to Noah Mahalski. We're only talking about 2.5 seconds. Travado having a pretty big advantage of 8 laps. He should be able to catch up to Mahalski relatively quickly.
Yeah, he was probably really hoping to get out just in front of these guys so he didn't have to battle them a little bit harder than he wanted to keep this position. But like you said, this won't be too hard of a pass. He has better tires over these 2 by far. And I don't think Banks will really battle him because he knows that 33 is going to drive away regardless. As now Travado, he'll have to get by Mahalski, he'll have to get by McWhorter, and also Philip Brewer, who's not too far up the road either, as he's got a long hunt before he gets even close to the 48. It is about 5 seconds from the 48 to the 33. He's also got to pass the lap car Brian Carwile, who has not recovered with that broken rear bumper.
And a little damage on the back of the 73 car as well. Look on board. Well, Jeff Wright was pretty quick to dive into the inside, but yeah, 73's got some heavy rear damage.
I wonder if that's when he hit, and I think that's from the 40, not from the 44. That's when the 66 clipped him, I guess, and destroyed the rear bumper of that car. And same thing with Carwile. I don't know why it's like that with the new damage model, but if you have any damage like that on the rear bumper, your race is over.
And shout out there, I believe it's pronounced Xavier. Xavier, or, oh, it's an Xavier. I have a son named Xavier as well. So on board with Reggie Ortega. Bro, my dad is the number 2. And he likes this track, so we're going to put him on the screen there for a moment. He seems to be liking it. He's sitting in the 11th position right now. And he's going to the outside of the 66, a lap down, and trying to catch up. He's about 0.2 of a second.
66 also completely lost his rear bumper. No debris on track, but Ortega's had a solid night. I think he could have probably tried pitting a little earlier. He pit lap 100, so he'll have some decent fresh tires at the end as well. He only pit a lap before Travado, who pit pretty late, so Ortega might be able to get back into the top 10 here. Still got a decent ways to do that. About 4 seconds to the 75 of Chuck Sweeting. Sweeting has, he might have fresher tires as well, so it's going to be a tall task.
The battles and the strategies continue here at Kansas. We have less than 40 laps to go. 32 when they cross the line. Jeff Wright, your leader, AJ Stravado, chases him down almost into the wall there into 3 and 4.
You can't get much closer without hitting it. I thought he was going to slam it, but he didn't hit it at all. That was incredible. But definitely on the chase. Carson Marenka. So this is going to get tight. Marenka's in the middle of the track. They got to split him 4 wide. How in the world did they get away with that? My goodness.
Mahalski's just like, I want to make a clean pass on somebody without a lap car here to interfere with it.
I thought we were going to want up 4 or more cars. That was incredibly dangerous with Marenka off the base. Stravado almost clobbered him. Then he had 3 cars that could have killed him, and they somehow avoided him while battling for what I believe is the 4th position. No, the 3rd position, which is what Philip Brewer has now. I think Warner's going to fade here with that damage. Stravado's cleared all of them.
Looking at the top 3 day. If this thing goes green, he's got the speed. He might be able to get around that 44 car.
We'll just have to wait and see. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to do it because we're going to have drivers with fresher tires coming close to him eventually. So he's going to have a fight on his hands. He's got to get by Brewer first to even have a chance at that because the 2 behind him, the 24-35, are already much faster, 0.3 of a second. So they should be able to touch.
Serrano's not shaving the time down as fast as I thought he would. We're talking about 3 lap difference here on tires. And about 0.4 of a second, but it's still, I mean, he's got 2 cars in front of him here that are lap down. He's got to get around those. Jeff Wright taking the laps away. We know that Jeff Wright's notorious for going into save mode and allowing a 10th or 2 extra before that driver catches up to him, then really turning up the heat.
And I've got to anticipate that's probably what he's trying to do right now. At this pace, Stravado will get to him, but we just don't know how much the 48's trying to conserve. We see him on the bottom line. Usually that is a telltale sign, especially at a track like Kansas where the high line might be the fast line. A telltale sign that he's probably really trying to keep the tires, mainly the right front, on it so he can have a little bit of defense in his 48 car for the end of this race. Meanwhile, Stravado, he's not doing that. He's doing the complete opposite. He is pushing hard to get to the 48 before the end of this race. He's running every line possible. We've seen him at the high line near the wall. We've seen him at the bottom on the white line. We even saw him run the middle there in 3 and 4. So he's doing everything he possibly can to get to the 48 of Jeff Wright. And speaking of Jeff Wright, he's probably going to have some lap traffic to race a little bit. He might catch the 66 pack eventually, and he's definitely going to have to pass Keith Shoemaker and Chad Klinger here in a little bit. But also, they're side by side in front of the 33, and that's a battle for 20th. Not 2 drivers side by side for no reason. It's Brandon Wallace and Bobby Patrica battling for position, as Brewer and Mahalski also battling for that 3rd spot. But Alex Bell, don't count him out quite yet. He might just pass both of them here.
Bell round to the outside. He has 7 lap fresher tires than Mahalski, who's going to try to play a little defense into turn 1, take away that line. It's a little too late, though, and Bell's going to carry that momentum. Nice sweep. Oh, Mahalski tried too much there. Got into the wall.
These 2 have been battling each other pretty hard all race long, and it's going to be no different here. The Bell's probably going to keep that position pretty easily now. He's got to get by the 44, and then it'll be his turn to try to do anything he can to get back to the top 2. He's still 6.2 as that comes down a little bit in the corner. Now it's 5.8 seconds behind Jeff Wright.
Looking back here with Caleb Weekly. He was another driver that was up towards the front there. He's had 3 laps here today. He was back in 13th position. Max Cost in front of him. This is drivers that are just outside the top 10. Max Cost actually was catching up to Reggie Ortega there for a moment. And Ortega is catching up to the driver in front of him, which is Chuck Sweeting. Actually, take that back, as Ryan Rose in the number 78.
McWhorter pit. I was worried about him pitting early. Not only did he get the bumper damage, I don't even know if he was going to make it on fuel 55 laps. So he's going to have to throw away a potential top 15 here to pit for fuel and damage repair. As that lead came down a little bit more. It's about 1.6 now. And now that Alex Bell is clear for third position, even fresher tires on his car, his gap's still 5.7. It's pretty unlikely he'll get there, but the 33 is still charging.
.6 seconds as they go through 3 and 4. Bravado has to navigate the 0.9 of Klinger here down to the bottom now. Alex Bell 3.5 back. I mean, both these cars are catching up to Wright. If Servato and Wright get to defending or get to racing each other, that could be an excellent opportunity for Bell to catch up in time before the end of this race.
Yeah, they're going to have to, the 33 is going to have to get there soon so they can race enough for the 15 to get there. And Alex Bell's got to be on top of his game as well at the same time as some of the other drivers off the pace pit on the right side of the screen. But Bell's going to have to do everything in his power to get close enough to the point where that might become possible. As we're seeing the top two run the bottom in 1 and 2. Alex Bell is digging on the top side as well as the 44, the 0335. Looks like everyone third on back there on the high line, but the top two leaders making up pace on the bottom 1 and 2, but they went right back to the top in turns 3 and 4 as Bell does the same. That gap down to 1.1 seconds that time by. They're going to come up on Carson Marenka again, who is consistently about 3 seconds off the pace right now.
He's got heavy right front damage.
He's been in the wall and probably had some contact with other cars. He might have been involved in that deal in the turn number 1 as well. Logging laps, gaining experience, 4 laps down now. He's still on the track. That same can't be said for Cameron King and Mark McFadden. They're both retirements from this race.
McFadden was the one that had that slip up there and heavy damage for the 5 car. He tried to bring it back out of pit road a couple times, ended up a few laps down, decided to call it a day. Cameron King, another car that was off the pace. So Carson Marenka, the last car on the racetrack in 29. Battle for the lead's about to heat up here, Connor. I think within the next 5 laps, we're going to see it.
I think so. Gap's still 1.1. Bell's 4.3 back. We'll see if he's a factor. I'd be shocked, but we've seen crazier things happen. I think back to Chicago, where crazy things did happen. But the last 2 laps, the gap stayed at 1.1. The 33 has not gained that much. As a matter of fact, he was slower than Jeff Wright last lap. As we're talking about 2 retirements, we could make that 3. Vali Petrika's taking his car behind the wall.
28 car done for the day, so that will give Carson Marenka a position, I believe.
28th position, leaves 28 cars on track. Is looking at the lap times once again. Stravato got that half-tenth he lost back, but you're talking about it, that crossover point when the tires even out. Unfortunately for the 33, we might be at that point. That gap has not budged from under 1 second in the last 3-4 laps, and we're coming to 16 laps to go.
What point does Alex Bell work his way up here? If Stravato is going stagnant, we can see a change for second position. That is within reach, because that's only about 3.5. Bell, based off the speed, I mean, he's going to have to turn it up here. As that time by, he was a 10th slower.
He might have burned his stuff up trying to get through those guys like I was thinking. I don't think he's going to have a chance to get up there without heavy battling for the lead. Stravato picked it back up last time by, was about a 10.5 faster than the 48, but he can't be trading time to him at this point. He needs to be consistently faster, as got under 0.9 of a second this time around, so maybe getting a little more juice back in the tires, as once again, a little bit over a 10th gained.
mean, you watch these laps tick away here. Stravado is being very patient, but I think Wright did the right thing. He saved, I mean, that's a pun in itself. He did what he had to do, and he saved a little bit for when Stravado got it under a second. And you're seeing him start to struggle to actually shave any time down now.
And at this point, it's such a slight advantage. It's such a small advantage for the 33. I'm not even sure how he pulls off a pass, because if you're faster than someone, you could work him over and make that pass, but how slowly he's catching. Even if he gets there, he might not have time to work over the 48 to make a pass. He might just have to send it and go crazy trying to get the win. And that usually doesn't work, as we've seen in races past, as the gap's been, after he got it under 9/10 of a second, it's kind of stalemated there once again. He was about 100th of a second slower, and we're closing in. Next time by will be about 12 laps to go.
Racing and going on back here, 9th, 10th.
Side by
Max
side.
Scott's a little bit further back.
Side by side for 5th as well. Bailey Turner's caught Noah Mahalski for that top 5 position, as Philip Brewer's been keeping tabs with Bell, but this is the closest battle inside the for a top 5 position currently.
I mean, Mahalski's had a great day. I'd like to see him get a top 5 out of this, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. The 6th position still possible, but a little pinch down here out of the exit of 2. He's going to play defense. But, you know, 10, 11 laps left to go when they cross the line. It's going to be a tall order. Bailey Turner is no slouch here.
Yeah, definitely not. It's going to be tough for the 24 to make that pass work, as once again, Stravado's slower than the 48, so that battle, I believe, might not heat up. This might be our closest battle to the end, as Turner's been starting to get better on the long run here tonight. He's pulled away a little bit from Joshua Banks. Chuck Sweeting, I believe, has slightly fresher tires than these guys. He might get into this battle for this 5th position as well, as it's 4 cars under a blanket.
We're taking to the outside of Ryan Rose for the 9th spot, coming out of turn 2.
Ooh, he had fresher tires. Finally going to get to the outside. Well, Rose very aggressive at Chicagoland a few weeks back. Cleaner race so far tonight, as he's going to fall just inside the top 10. He'll stay inside the top 10 for the time being. Max Cost a little further behind. Not a little bit faster than 78. Tough to get there at this point.
Eight tenths of a second. It stayed right there. And then we have 8 laps to go. Roughly 8.5. As Jeff Wright comes off his turns 1 and 2. We saw that one little mistake there where Jeff Wright brushed the wall in 3 and 4. And that's when Stravado was able to get around him. You have to say that that might be the only chance that the 33 car's got at this point.
I think another issue with him is that he's just close enough to the 48 where he's probably getting dirty air, and he tried running the bottom a few laps ago. It did not work, so he really seems like the bottom lane just not there. He has no choice but to follow in his tire tracks, run that top line, and it's just not helping him whatsoever. The lap before he was half a tenth off. Last time by, he ran 1/1000th of a second faster. And my math sometimes isn't great, but when you're coming to 7 laps to go and you're 8 tenths behind, you probably need to gain more than 1,000th of a second.
Yeah, this time by, it looks like they're pretty much even on this count. Identical lap times for both of them.
Essentially, once again, Travado's only thousandths faster, and that just won't cut it. And I'm kind of shocked with how late the 15 hit, how much time he's lost. He got to within 4.5 seconds. That gap is now 6.3. He's falling back to Philip Brewer, as meanwhile, for 5th, Bailey Turner just pulled the slide job on Noah Mahalski, and he might make that pass complete because of that move.
Come down to crunch time. Mahalski and a sandwich for 5th and 7th. Closest battles on the racetrack. You go from 5th back to 8th. Chuck Sweeting. These guys about to get really racy in the last 5 laps.
Yeah, this is what Kansas looks like. Everyone's on the top line and just waiting for a slide job opportunity. Bailey took his opportunity, ran away with it. Now it's going to be up to Joshua Banks to pull something off in the last 5.5 laps. as that 24 should probably pull away at this point. Austin's going to struggle to keep these spots.
Five to go. Jeff Wright crosses the line. That gap starting to grow a little bit here. All the 48 car has to do is keep it off that wall. And he can bring it to victory lane. Servato, Bell, Brewer, Turner, the top 5. Mahalski still under fire from Joshua Banks, Sweeting, Ortega, Ryan Rose, the top 10.
Top 2 are way ahead of everyone else, but then the top 8 are separated by everyone else as well. It's 8 seconds from Chuck Sweeting to Reggie Ortega for that 8th position. It's impressive because this is a race that only saw one caution. It was early on. Chuck Sweeting, 29th to 8th so far. It's a solid run for the time being. Not over quite yet with how crazy that it's not over yet with how crazy this battle has been and how crazy this battle could get, and B, we've seen what happens to Chuck Sweeting, so he's never fully out of it quite yet. But a solid run tonight is right. Probably won't catch much lap traffic as I think Banks hit the wall in turn 3, and as I say that, Chuck Sweeting gonna take that spot from the 35.
A little mistake there from the 35 car. That's a sigh of relief for the 03 of Mahalski. I mean, if you're the 03, you just want this thing to be over with because you know that you don't stand to gain anything now. You're watching guys pull away. Same thing for Servato. He's just kind of lost it now. He put on a heck of a drive, got him within 8/10, but as soon as that happened, Wright just turned up the heat. 2 laps to go. It doesn't look like we're going to have really any changes here. Maybe 7th position if the 35 can get back to health, but it's looking like we're probably going to stay the same all the way through this top 10.
We might see a change for 4th. Bailey Turner pulled away. He gapped everyone, and now he is going to get 4th from Philip Brewer. There's not going to be a lot of contest for that as Jeff Wright so far ahead. He's out of turn 4. He saved his tires when it mattered the most, and he's going to take the white flag. No overtime this year.
So officially official, and Jeff Wright just has to get around Kansas one more time, electing to take the low line to play it safe here in 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway, American Ethanol's backstretch, and into 3 and 4 for the final time at Kansas. Jeff Wright in stride, took 2nd away in points, looking for 1st, but he's going to be 1st here today at Kansas. Your winner, Jeff Wright, in race number 11.
Looks like I think Philip Brewer ran out of fuel. He's going to lose all these positions on the front straightaway. Yeah, he ran out of fuel, and that was a shame. He was running top 5, but he's still going to get 8th out of it, but he stretched the fuel a little bit too long. So Stravato, Bell, Turner, Mahalski, the top 5. Sweeting gets the 6th from 29th. Banks, Brewer coasts to 8th, and then Ortega and Ryan Rose the top 10.
I'm just going to give him the award right now. That's the day that Chuck Sweeting needed right there.
I'll say they really, really desperately needed something to go his way.
So congrats to all these drivers and putting on a great show. And ultimately, it comes down to Jeff Wright. Congrats to him on getting the victory and putting it all together at Kansas. This was a tough race. I mean, these guys brushing the wall, the mistakes. You don't see them from Jeff Wright very often, but we saw one here today, and he was still able to overcome that and win by 1.2 seconds over the 33 of AJ Stravato. Those race interviews with your top 3. We're going to round those drivers up after a quick commercial break. You're watching the Saturday Night Racing League at Kansas Speedway.
2 to go. Is anybody to try to maybe make a 3rd one?
This race still very undecided.
The bottom lane just doesn't have enough cars now. The rules have been reversed.
They're running out of time and they know it.
How about Noah McCall's giving out 3? He did his head in this battle.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs.
From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items.
Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
In the heartland of our country, something magical is happening. At Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes, we know the power of community, of hands coming together to create wonders. These costumes are symbols of love, compassion, and inclusion. Your hands can craft dreams. Join us at Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes build events and be a part of something extraordinary.
Introducing Tractor USA, the best way to buy and sell premium ag and construction equipment. Tractor USA was designed to be straightforward, simple, and affordable with zero commission and live auctions every week. Tractor USA auctions offer the finest selection of pre-owned tractors, combines, and other ag and construction equipment from across the United States and the world. Simply go to tractorusa.com to get started today.
Back here live from the Kansas Speedway. Saturday Night Racing League has concluded race number 11 for 140 laps here tonight. In the Midwest, it was a good show. We look at the race recap. 13 lead changes, one caution early in this race on lap number 12. Ultimately, it came down to the strategies that everyone was trying to pull. About 3 different ones, but it paid off for Jeff Wright. Final results up on your screen. AJ Stravano just shy. He got it within 8/10 before Jeff Wright turned the heat back up. Alex Bell led some laps here today from 7th position. He's going to finish 3rd. Haley Turner is going to come home in 4th with Noah Mahalski in the top 5. Little mistake there from Joshua Banks, and I'll tell you, congrats there to the number 5 of Mahalski. Philip Brewer ran out of fuel. Had that not happened, I think Mahalski was going to finish 6th. Chuck Sweeting is going to get that much-deserved 6th position from 29th. Biggest mover of the race and driver of the day, undoubtedly. Joshua Banks back to 7th. Philip Brewer crossing the line out of fuel. He started on the pole here today. Reggie Ortega, 9th position. Shout out there to the chat. He got the top 10. And Ryan Rose rounding out your top 10 here today.
And only 4 drivers who started in the top 10 actually finished up there. We got a few drivers who weren't able to do so in this lineup. Max Cost 15th to 11th. Decent run for the 63. Bryce Shoemaker up to 12th. Caleb Weekly, the 13th, finishes 13th after starting top 5. Austin Belkey in the 14th position, up for 31st. That's a great charge for the 89 as well. Pittman in 15th in his debut. Gavin Pittman, that is. So decent debut. Jonathan Smith hit the wall a couple of times, still managed a 16th place finish, as well as being the last driver on the lead lap. Joseph McWhorter, a bad strategy and a little bit of rear end damage derailed his chance at a top 5. He ends up finishing only 17th. Brandon Wallace 18th. Pretty much stayed put the entire race. Ryan Carwell, another driver, the rear end damage really killed him. 19th place. And Brandon Bowie as well got caught up in an incident, had damage, could not recover. So a few drivers not wrecking out of the race, but getting too much damage to finish well. Bowie's one of those. He finishes 20th.
Bowie had a 3rd place start here. All the cars from 17th place on down are a lap or more out of the picture. Ray Massey in 21st. He got that penalty and never could recover. He needed a caution to get back on that lead lap. Casey Lakatos, a guy that was up front for a little bit of this race, he finishes in 22nd. Keith Shoemaker in the 23rd position. Kyle Peacock in 24th. Stefan Davis, 25th. Jerry Bergeron. And then a few, we had Chad Klinger out there, 27th. Believe it was Carson Marinka was the last car to finish this race. And then it was Bobby Patrica, Cameron King, and Mark McFadden rounding out the field. So now let's take you trackside. We have Connor Horn. He's down with Alex Bell, your third place finisher here today. Take you down there now with the number 15 in the pit.
Yep, I do have Alex Bell. So, Alex, you end up running up front. You might have ended up leading close to the most laps, led 32 laps, but just didn't have enough tire to get back to the lead after losing it on the first round of pit stops. You think there was strategy that ended your bid at a race win, or was it something else?
Yeah, it was probably a little bit strategy. Jeff short pitted me by a lap, and I didn't think it was going to make that much of a difference because I had built enough gap over him, but I must have sucked it on the pit road or something because the gap he built after the pit stops, I never could make it back up. But we'll take a top 3 run. Connor, you've been seeing it in area over on Sim TV and here on V Speed. The last month for me, league racing's been just about the worst thing ever. So to come out of here with a race where my internet didn't crash, my computer didn't crash, I didn't get wrecked or etc. To have a good run, lead laps, up front a lot, and finishing third, we needed that. Hopefully that's going to turn this here season around and we can start running like this more frequently.
Yeah, we noted it before the race how you just have had nothing go your way as far as hardware goes the last month. But like you said, solid finish and a lot of hard racing tonight. But it seemed like you got back to the 48 after the first round of pit stops, but you ended up just not having the tire to do so on the final round of pit stops. Do you think we kind of figured it was the night settling in, making it tougher for tires to have an advantage? Do you think that was an issue as well?
Yeah, probably so. As the track got more grippy, I probably didn't keep up. I probably didn't adjust my driving style enough to keep up with the track how it was. But again, I think I really need to work on my pit stops because even after the last round of pit stops, AJ was way ahead of me and Jeff was even further ahead of me. So even if I did save my tires up, it was going to be a hell of a gap to make up. But no, we'll take P3. I got a few things to work on, but yeah, it was fun racing up front, tight race with Jeff, tight racing with Carwile. I know for sure I banged doors with him a few times, but it was all in the spirit of clean racing and good hard racing, so I enjoyed it.
Yeah, Napa Supra was pretty fast tonight, so decent top 3 to get you back on track, not only in this league, but in leagues as a whole. Anyone you want to shout out, anyone you want to thank, and maybe anyone you want to call out, because we do that too.
I'm not pissed off at anyone. If anything, Carlisle might pissed off at me. I probably need to talk to him. But hey, yeah, appreciate you guys for putting on these races every week. Appreciate all the sponsors we have here in this league. Not gonna lie to you, I don't know all the sponsors off the top of my head, so I failed my PR class there. But appreciate everyone that makes this league go, and everyone in this league, man. It was a tough couple weeks there with what happened last week, getting the penalty in the pre-race I didn't know about. So I love these guys too much to stay away from them. So I appreciate everyone here in this league.
And well, solid run for you tonight, and we'll get you some PR training. We'll give you a note before next week, or Bradley might, because he knows the sponsors better than me as well. So
Yeah,
thanks for
please
talking to
do.
us, Alex. Good top 3 run, and we'll hopefully see you next week.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Talk to y'all later.
Yes, sir. We'll give him a note, Bradley. Then maybe a cue card, as we'll try to get him up to date on our sponsors, but we'll also see. We'll see if AJ Travado has the sponsors up. Bradley, you are down there with the 33, and does he have his sponsors in line? Does he know who sponsors who?
I don't know. I'm not going to ask him to rehearse it. In fact, I'm a little skeptical to rehearse it myself right now. I know probably offhand, but I'll probably mess it up. AJ, I tell you, man, you got him down to 8/10. You had him within arm's reach. Was it the dirty air, or did Jeff save something? What changed there once you got within a gap of him?
Honestly, man, I don't really know. I thought, going those 3 laps were going to be a little bit good, but we were kind of. I think I ran the top a little bit too soon, to be honest with you. Our tires were, within I was a couple percentage better, but for 3 laps, I think I could have done a little bit of a better job. But Jeff's really good at short pitting and doing good with strategy and executing on that. So to lose to him in that regard is it's bittersweet, obviously. But I think if I'd had a little bit more talent, I think I could have done a little bit better right there and maybe caught up to Jeff and beat him. I don't really think there's an excuse for me with 3-lap fresher tires to not be able to run him down from 4 or so seconds back. But it's like I said, it's Jeff. There's one guy you got to be sharp against. It's him. So hopefully we'll learn to be a little bit better and not come up second. But like I said, can't complain about how we ran today. So happy about that.
Well, and I tell you, on this flip side of it, you come home from, 14 positions up, starting back in 16th. You led some laps here today. The strategy overall, I mean, we went into pit road. I saw Jeff Wright almost I mean, overthrow it. It looked like a passenger landing a 747. That could have been the opportunity. He also hit the wall there during the mid race. I mean, several mistakes there. To mitigate here, Kansas was a really tough place. What did it take to get around this with the least amount of mistakes?
Honestly, just tire saving and just kind of knowing the limit of the car. This is it's kind of underdriving it a little bit, and that's kind of how you had to drive it. To be honest with you, I was kind of noticing that early in practice and in the race. So just buying my time, buying the right front. I've learned from somebody in this broadcast booth who does that really well. So learned a little bit from him over time, and I was able to apply that today and kind of drive through the field. Could have done a little bit better picking my spots in different situations to, maybe mitigate a couple tenths, and maybe that was the difference in the race. But if I'm going to complain about that, that's it is what it is. So all in all, good race. Congrats to Jeff, and good race overall.
Congrats to you, AJ. And is there anybody you'd like to shout out? Actually, Connor wanted me to put you on the spot, so go ahead and thank all the sponsors of the league right off the bat.
Oh, brother, man, you can't do that to me like that. We're gonna have to. Brother, dude, you can't be doing that to me like that.
We need more cue cards.
Yeah, you need more cue cards, Connor.
I got
I'll
you.
tell you who I can give you some thanks for some 29 Graphics. I believe that's who is sponsoring the league. All the league admins,
Most recent.
and V Speed and Nexus Esports and all the guys doing Road to Pro and my teammates and road teammates at Project Valorous. I'm looking forward to doing a special event in 2 weeks, the VCO Infinity. So that'll be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it.
We appreciate your time, AJ, and sorry to put you on the spot there, but good finish here tonight, and we'll get to see you next week.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be a little bit better prepared. I appreciate it, Connor, and appreciate you guys putting on a great broadcast.
AJ Stravato, second place finisher here today at Kansas. And finally, that brings us down to victory lane, where Connor Horn is caught up with Jeff Wright, your winner, the guy that edged out just enough there to save the tires. Jeff Wright.
Yep, and I do have him here to Lowe's Camaro, victory lane, a familiar place for the 48. I believe that's win number 10 in Saturday Night Racing League for you, Jeff. You end up leading the most laps, 60 laps in total, but really for the first half of this race, it was not simple. You had a lot of battling to do with the 15, then battle with the 33. Ultimately, it came down to strategy. It seemed like the short pit was what got you the race win both times you did it. Do you think that was true?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I was going to beat AJ straight up. He was just so much faster than I was on the long run, and with him being a teammate in the same Discord, we were all kind of sharing our tire wear numbers, and he was about 20% better every run, and so I knew it was like, well, I'm not gonna beat him doing the same thing. I'm gonna have to try and short pit, and then really just try to take care of my stuff this time, because the first two runs I just wasn't able to do that very well. Usually with about 5 laps left in the run, I was really start falling. Alex Bell, and I, we got to battling, and I think we both kind of used our stuff up, fell back a little bit. AJ and Ryan Carwile, they did a really good job saving their stuff, and you saw them, kind of get to the lead there at the end of the run. So I just knew I had to make an adjustments, and the caution early helped us too get on a different strategy. So we had to, had a little bit of an advantage there to get to the lead in the first place, and Connor, just as much as I do, clean air, when you get that, that's a really big advantage. And thankfully, we got to have a lot of that tonight again.
Yeah, we're talking about that a lot about that tonight with the way the dirty air was looking. Almost like with the way that you and the 15 are battling, it almost seemed like a disadvantage to be in clean air, but that was definitely not the case near the end of a race. But one thing that seemed to be the beneficiary, you were the beneficiary of short pitting, obviously, but also seemed like the advantage fresher tires had went away as the night settled in. I talked about that with Alex. He sort of agreed that was the case. Do you think that's kind of what won you the race as well? Because it seemed like the 33 got back to you when it was still light out, but once the night settled in, it seemed like that advantage went away too much for him.
Yeah, I definitely think that's exactly. I think Alex Bell nailed it. As soon as this track got cool, sun went down, it seemed like it just made the clean air an advantage. Because like you said early on, when me and Alex were trading the lead back and forth, I noticed it too. I mean, as soon as I got the lead, I just plowed. I don't the weirdest thing I've ever had to experience here in iRacing, but yeah, as soon as it became nighttime, that certainly kind of got back to normal iRacing, where the leader has the advantage, and and that's ultimately why we had to short pit AJ, because like I said, we weren't going to beat him on the long run, so had to try something different, and thankfully it all worked out.
Yeah, it definitely worked out for you. Another win. That's 2 in a row over the last 3 weeks with the off week in the middle. So you're on a roll. I don't know the official points, but McWhorter didn't have the best of races. You're going to be close you'll be very close to being back in the points lead. So another season looking very good for you, Jeff. Anyone you want to shout out and you want to thank? And like I said to Alex, anyone you want to call out, because we do that too.
Yeah, well, first I'm gonna name all the sponsors. I know some of the guys had a little bit of trouble with that, but I got them right here in front of me. I'm prepared. First off, big thanks to 29 Graphics. This is their first race with us, so coming on, sponsoring the last half of this season is just great, and he does awesome work. Let me grab his name here. Yeah, Julio Villalobos. So with 29 Graphics, so jump in his Discord. We got his Discord link in your guys' video description. So he does an awesome work with the paint shop. So if you ever need a paint scheme, he's your guy. And Saturday Night Racing League members get 50% off. So you definitely got to check them out. And then obviously all the other sponsors that have been with us all season long: Tractor USA, Clark Print Shop, Walk and Roll Costumes. Like I said, we can't put these events on without them. So yeah, big thanks to those guys. And obviously thanks to you guys up in the booth. Hopefully it was an entertaining race with all the different strategies that were going on. It was a lot of fun tonight. So I hope you guys had fun too.
It definitely was a fun race, and another green race for Saturday Night Race League. Only the one caution on lap number 10, and green the entire rest of the way for about 115 laps. Congrats on the win, Jeff. Thanks for talking to us. We'll see you next week when we're going to the Milwaukee Mile for the first time, so that should be fun. Good luck next week.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Connor. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
That's your race winner, Jeff Wright. In Victory Lane, he rehearsed it well. I think he had cue cards, though, Connor.
He has an advantage, I think. Just a little slight advantage.
Well, I'll do it. I'll do it again, backing it up here. Tractor USA, Clark Print Shop, 29 Graphics, and Walking and Rolling Costumes. We thank you guys for being a part of this season, and for everybody here. It was a great show. I think overall, a lot more passing than I thought was going to go down, and all the 3 and 4 wide that we saw here today. It was an excellent show. Connor, final thoughts before we let him go.
Well, it raced a little better than I thought it would. I think the multi-groove kind of went away as the night settled down. We saw a lot of drivers running the bottom early on to the point where it seemed like the bottom was better to get the run off of, especially turn 2. So that was a little surprising for me to see in the Xfinity car. And at the end of the day, it came down to strategy. It was still hard to pass, even with the tires and the different tracks, the different lines being used. But Jeff Wright was ultimately the one who played the strategy probably the best, because I think the 33 and maybe even the 15 might have had something for him, but the short pits in both pits for that 48 tonight, the short pitting really made a difference and put him in victory lane by over a second at the end of the day. So very dangerous this series is when the 48's rolling. He's the first driver in league history to get the double digits, and he's showing no signs of stopping.
I hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast here on V-Speed. If you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss a single race. We'll bring you flag-to-flag coverage all season long here for the Saturday Night Racing League. And tune in tomorrow night, 8 o'clock actually, p.m. Eastern Time, when we bring you the Sunoco Cup Series. They will be live in racing, 8 p.m. Hope you guys can make it. Until then, for everybody at V-Speed, Adam Baker in the background doing the graphics, my co-commentator of the night, Connor Horn, our other producers, Morgan Cook, Eddie Smith, and Christian Hill. We thank you for your time, and we hope to see you tomorrow. Have a great weekend, everybody. Still very undecided.
The bottom lane just doesn't have enough cars now. The rules have been reversed.
They're running out of time and they know it.
How about Noah McCoskey in the L3? He can his hand in this battle. The bottom surges to the inside. Now pulls even with Hutton off the turn number 2.
1,700 horsepower at their feet.
Banks doesn't have a push. Hutton, can he do it? Oh,